You're now watching The Franchise on the DML Network.
Welcome into the DML Network. It's your boy Expert, and we got episode 31 of The Franchise, which means we just drafted here in the Dynasty. And let's go through these picks to find out, did you get a gem or did you reach and hurt your franchise? You know I don't do these shows alone. First up, it's the OG Chris Murray. What up, Mr. Murray? What's going on, my man?
You already know, man. The building is excited to be on another show. Get the ball back rolling, you know.
No doubt. And we got a veteran in the building, a banner winner himself, Mr. Tightwork. What's up, Tightwork?
What's going on, fellas? I'm cheer.
You're cheer. I hear it. Yeah. And we got someone that's not gonna hold back. Someone I love to do shows. I love hearing him when he's on shows, especially when I walk the line with the homie Chris Murray. Make sure y'all check that out on the DML Network. Mr. Ralph-O-Matic himself, Mr. Randy. What's up, my man?
What up?
All right, let's get through these picks. First pick on the board, we have a new number one team on the board, and it's those Atlanta Falcons picking at number one. And OG Chris Murray, does Nasty Noob go and get him a monster at wide receiver, Mr. Thurman Carter, going to the Falcons. What did you think when you saw this wide receiver come off the board first?
Automatically replacing of Julio Jones. You know, you got Calvin Ridley who's out there, who's somewhat, I'm not going to say, hasn't fallen off, but when you become that number one wide receiver with Julio Jones leaving, it just, now you're going up against those top tier cornerbacks. So when I seen this, man, and just looking at, the wide receiver group that Nancy Luke has out there, this is a guy that I just picture as Julio Jones. 6'5", he got speed, he got veteran wide receivers over there like Keenan Allen, Kenny Galloway, who can kind of mold him in so you don't got to rush him into being that top tier wide receiver from the gate. So I think this is a great pick, man. Great pick.
Yeah, and you talk about that wide receiver core. Got some veterans there. He brought Keenan Allen in, got Galladay to kind of beat those veteran guys. But then you add a guy like Thurman Carter that at 6'5", 200 plus pounds that can run, flat out run. This is going to be somebody to watch in Atlanta. But Chris Murray, is this the guy that gets the Falcons over the hump? And do we see Nasty Noob return to the playoffs, or is this just one of those flashes in the pan and we'll just move on to the next season?
See, this is the thing right here, right? It depends on the identity that the Atlanta Falcons want to carry out on the offensive side of the ball. Because don't forget, you still got the young guy Claiborne out there, who's also a big wide receiver with speed. So you got these two guys that can, gel with your quarterback that's young. If he can get them guys clicking, because like I said, when you got height and speed, man, it automatically can take your offense over the top. But it's just all about the identity that the Atlanta Falcons offense want to have on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to be a pass first team, a run first team, because sometimes I think when you watch the Atlanta Falcons team, they get caught up in the mess of their play calling. So if he could just figure out, man, what type of offense he want to, carry out throughout the season, I'm hoping that the Atlanta Falcons make it to the playoffs. With these guys, I'm excited to see how they gel together on the field, man. So I think I'm gonna jump on a leap of faith. I think that this guy can definitely get the Atlanta Falcons back into the playoffs. I'm gonna put it out there just like that.
No doubt, and we'll see if that's true. Next up, someone that's used to picking in the top 5, top 3, top 1. It's those Pittsburgh Steelers in tight work. The Pittsburgh Steelers not only finally got a win last year, but the first time they have not picked number 1 overall, and they felt they needed some help on that defensive line, and they went and got a big, ugly, and Silas Levy. And tight work, I know you love them hangovers. What you think about this big boy?
OMG. He has a big hangover. And, hey, this was like the best draft class for DTs that we had all cycle.
Facts.
And this guy right here might have been the best one of the bunch. I know we done had a couple studs come through that we got to play against every other week or every weekend in the DML, depending on which vision you're in. But this guy right here is a monster. It wasn't a need for him, you know what I'm saying? Because they picking, like you said, top top 3, top 2, number 1 every year this cycle so far.
Right.
And then they was always up high on the waiver wire to grab some studs. So the team is loaded. And then it wasn't me, but this was the best player available at number 2. He's probably the best player in the draft, man. But just look at him, man. He's a big boy. He 6'6", 318. And then he's strong. I think he had like 44 reps at the combine.
Yeah.
And then he ran like a sub 5 flat. Man, it's nothing this guy can do. He can play DN, DT. Shoot, if he wasn't so big, you probably can stand him up in the 3-4 at outside linebacker, man. Hey, this was a great pick by the Steelers, man. Hey, but it's hard to go wrong when you're picking that high. But this one right here was a hit.
That's not entirely true, because we're gonna see a top 10 pick here in the first round that really did get messed up. But we'll get to that when we get to that Ocho pick. But you talking about a guy that's 6'6", 318 pounds, but it's that 96 strength. That's a guy you have to double team. You have to account for in the middle of that line. And this is a big pickup for the Steelers. Maybe he goes 3-13 this year. Next up, it's those Bengals. Taz and the homie, and we see the first cornerback come off the board. And Randy, we get Terrell Goodwin, Cincinnati Bengals, 91 speed, 90 excel. A lot of people had Goodwin high on their board. Were you a little disappointed by the speed rating of this guy, even though he has all the other attributes ready to go?
I think he's solid. Like you said, you're looking at his man coverage, already a 77. Zone coverage needs some work. But what I'm looking at it is catching, only 65 catching. And then we're looking at his jump, though, a 91. So this guy's going to be able to play 6'1", 21 years old, plenty of time to develop him. I think it's a real solid pick at a spot that Taz needed at corner.
Yeah, and you look at the cornerbacks on this roster, he's got 26 of them on the roster right now, but about 3 of those guys can actually play cornerback. We'll see what he does with the rest of those guys. I really liked the Deshaun Donaldson pick he had later, the rookie out of Texas. But Terrell Goodwin, another guy that's going to step in. This is going to be the no-fly zone in Cincinnati if he can get these guys playing. Next up, another team usually picking in the top 5. It's those G-men and Chris Murray. We see the first quarterback come off the board, Zach Callaway. We all knew he was going to be the first guy coming off the board, and this guy has every stat you could want at the quarterback position. You're looking at 94 throw power. Deep accuracy already at 85. This is a guy that can come in and really step in for this Giants team and maybe get them over the hump. They have finished in last place in the NFC East every single year. Maybe got to push them forward. Did you like this kid right here coming out of North Carolina State?
Yeah, I like the kid, but I just hate that his career had to go out to New York, because it's just going to be, exactly what you just mentioned. He's going to be, he's on a team that's going to be in the bottom tier of the league every single season. But let's just talk about his attributes. 94 throwing power, 85 deep accuracy, 79 mid accuracy, 82 short out the gate. So he has everything that could potentially get a team to the Super Bowl. Which is that he landed with the wrong organization. The Giants, man, New York is, my fault, said New York, New Jersey. But it's just that this is, I don't like the team he got drafted by, man. So this is going to be a retirement spot for him unless the organization comes up with, that they want to get rid of him. But yeah, he's definitely a good quarterback. But career-wise, Mr. Callaway, if you're listening, you tuning into the show, RIP to your career, because you out there with the Giants. But that's all I got.
Poor Callaway going to the Giants. All right, let's move on. Next up is those LA Chargers picking here at number 5, Jonathan Ortega. Tight work. Jonathan Ortega going here to the, and you look at 2 speed. He's got 8 that can just play line. And Chargers, as he tries to get back to that level of being dominant there in the AFC.
First of all, it'd help if he moved from the Chargers to the Rams. They like right up the street from each other.
Oh, that would help, because that is the Rams. I apologize. It's the LA Rams. You know, both those teams in LA, I just expect them picking
They look alike.
It looks like they always pick in the top 10. So it's confusing to me. I apologize. He goes to the Rams. Well, that changes because Flair's not going to do anything with this guy, but go ahead and talk about it.
Hey, but well, I talked to the owner from the Rams before the draft, and he was high on that receiver that went to the Falcons with the #1 pick, and this was his backup plan. And what a backup plan it was, man. When you can get a middle linebacker at this size, 6'2", 253, and can run like a deer, man, he's probably faster than most secondaries in the league right now. And you got him at middle linebacker. This is what I think Chris Murray wanted the guy from Clemson last year to be like when he came. Hey, this guy's a stud, man. There's nothing you can say about him, but we don't know what to think of Flair, man. Sometimes he's knocking off hot dogs, and then other times he's
tight work.
Flair.
But tight work. This man says he's going to win a championship this Madden with this Rams team. Is that going to happen, or is that just smoke?
He's been smoking some of that Neverland. You know what I'm saying? We never gonna see that. Hey, Flair, hey, you cool? Sometimes when you ain't lying to us and then touching the Bible. Hey, but this guy, like Chris Murray said, the pick before, man, I just wish he was on another team because, hey, this guy is a beast. He gonna have fun out there in LA, you know. He might be an actor in about 5 years because he's not going to the Hall of Fame.
Next up, we're gonna get this shit right. Next up, it's the Cardinals, and we're gonna go back to Chris Murray because Chris Murray, you got Gladstone. Tell me what about this young man made here at number 6?
This is the crazy thing. I was too hungover from the previous night, so the CPU picked it for me. But it was an okay pick, you know. I wasn't looking to draft at this position, but it is what it is because the CPU did mess up a couple picks. But it was cool. I definitely was gonna go. I'm just trying to have fun, this man. You know, I was definitely gonna draft a wide receiver. I know I got like 50 of them on my roster, but I like the kid. You know, he's fast, got good speed, good as hell. I mean, he's young, so I got some time to try to build him up. But I think our D-line, they had a sense that our D-line needed some help. They filled that hole in. They had him ranked top 6 as far as the top picks in the draft. So I guess we struck gold with this one. So let's see what the kid can do, man. We want to see if he can ball. If he can't, his ass will definitely be out of there. The first bus out of Arizona. Only thing I don't like is his height. He's 6'1". But outside of that, though, he got to look like he's looking like he's ready to ball out. Like he concentrated a little bit, but I'm happy with the pick, man. I ain't got no 75 overall left end. No, I'm cool with it. CPU.
I mean, if we allowing the computer to pick, you know what? Let's just move on. Pick number 7 goes to darkness and those Minnesota Vikings. And Randy, strong safety Morgan Jackson, 94 speed, 95 excel. Darkness gets him a goon in that secondary. What you like about this kid?
Man, well, just like you said, I mean, I wish he was a little bit taller. He's only sitting at 5'10". I like my safeties to be above 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2". But that 90 speed, 95 excel, especially playing with Embro in that division that likes to chuck the ball. And then you got that boy Diggs and Detroit with Conehead. So he's really going to help some people out. All right. So I like this pick for him, but
nothing about the Bears and Solomon Kane. We mentioned the user in Green Bay. We mentioned, Swami in Detroit. I mean, Solomon gets no love in that NFC North. We just ignore him. I mean, he's probably somewhere right now putting another wristband or a different pair of gloves or a visor on a player. Like, I don't know how any of his guys run. They got 48 pieces of equipment they got to put on before they even hit the field. But no love for the Bears?
Nah, man. Like you said, they're kind of just in the middle there. They're going to always be 3 or 4. So, it's a one-team race in that division.
It's been a one-team race. It will always be a one-team race. Matter of fact, we just looked at Daddy Leagues, and the user in Green Bay has just won the division. And we are in, I think, the third week of the preseason. Next up, before we get to the next pick, we need to give an award away. So I just need everybody just go ahead and take a break, pause real quick, and we're going to let Noob roll that footage.
Dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy. You big cold-blooded dummy. You did. Oh, no, you big dummy. Oh, no, you big dummy. You dummy.
That's right. The Big Dummy Award goes to none other than the Oakland, Las Vegas. I don't care where you play them at. The Raiders get the Big Dummy Award. And Randy, I skipped you once, but I'm going to allow you to go first here. Just because it's you. And I want to hear what you think about this wonderful pick at number 8, Mr. Joey Swain going to the Raiders.
Well, HBO don't know how to draft. We know that. He don't know how to develop. We know that. I don't understand. You go to HBO's team. He has 800 quarterbacks on that roster. Just signed 30-plus Odell Beckham Jr. when he's only going to throw it to one person. I just don't see how this guy's going to get developed at all. He's 66 overall, kind of average in the middle, but HBO don't run the ball. So how's this guy going to get developed? RIP to your career, Mr. Swain.
And tight work. Is this one of those things that you can't even take the 10 minutes, 20 minutes it takes to set a draft board to make sure your top 8 players are on the board ready to go?
See. I'm gonna look out for my dog HBO. You know what I'm saying? Because
all right, we're gonna move on.
It was something in the game. Like if you let a computer draft for you, they was actually making. But I guess it's the Raiders and the ghost of Al Davis that touched this guy. He did. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he had the most hard. He has to hit the reporters. You know how that the reporters all combine because his combine wasn't good. His college career wasn't good. I don't know, man. Maybe was it his size? He had a big overhang. Yeah. Al Davis got the important overhang.
He's 6'6", 338 pounds. But this is a scrub. This is a jag. This is just a guy. Yes. And for you to be a top 10 pick, I promise you, I can guarantee you this. I haven't talked to the user, the owner of the Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. I promise you there was at least 10 people in his DMs looking for this pick. He could have flipped this pick and got a superstar somewhere on a roster to replace this 8th pick if you're not going to be available, which is why you get the Big Dummy Award. But let's move on. Pick number 9. And it goes Bears. And I promise you, here's why you get the Big Dummy, because the very next pick is a 74 overall right guard who just makes pick number 8 look even worse. And Chris Murray, you look at Austin Coleman, a good player going to the Bears. Of course, take the mental picture of this guy right now, because this will be the least amount of equipment he has on in his entire NFL career. I promise you right now, we could look this guy up in the Dynasty. Oh, no. He got 2 arm sleeves, he got gloves, he got wristbands, he got a visor, he got a neck roll. He has charms coming off of his belt. There is nothing about this. You can't even tell this guy who he is until he takes his helmet off to find out who he plays for. And that's just what Solomon does. But Chris Murray, Solomon goes and gets him a right guard at pick 9. But does it help him improve this Bears football team?
Yes, it does, man, because Connor Patrick was running for his life into every snack last season, being sacked for a total of 41 times. So, yes, it does help out was making the Bears team better. But like you just mentioned, man, I don't care how much equipment he put on those players, that will not help the Bears get from out of that fourth spot in that division. It just, I don't know. I just don't know what's going on with Solomon, man. He hasn't been the same user for like 2 cycles now. Because that first cycle that he came to DML, he was balling. He was clicking on all cylinders, but it just faded away, man. So I was going to call it the Solomon Kane curse. You know, it leaked over into Chicago. Austin Coleman, I'm going to give you the RIP stamp too, man. RIP to your career, unless the organization plans on trading you further down the line. But yeah, this guy, he helps out, but he's not going to help out the Bears when they're going to move out of that first slot.
All right, last pick in the top 10 goes to the Super Bowl champion Ravens. Shout out to the homie Addy 5 winning another banner here in Dynasty. And he trades up and gets Tucker Peterson. And tight work. The rich just get richer. Tucker Peterson, 92 speed, 88 excel at middle linebacker. I mean, this is another game-changing player. He's got McQueen. You got Peterson. What else does the Ravens team need?
It ain't fair. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't fair. How can we allow this, man? Let's get a new rule or something. I don't know. But this guy right here should be on one of those bottom feeders to help them get over the hump. Not to a team that just won a Super Bowl and just primed to go back. You know what I'm saying? We saw this coming during the offseason when he was trying to move up in the top 10. And we kind of knew because Queen was coming up to get re-signed, and I don't know how much he's going to ask for, probably a boatload. But then he still get Queen, and then he had this guy. Come on, middle linebacker with 92 speed. It's a safety, and he's 6 feet, 244. So he got a little weight to him. Not tall, but he can run and make plays. He needed a little work on his covering, but he can go from sideline to sideline, and then he's at the right place in Baltimore, where they let his linebackers go and make plays, man. So this right here, the rich just keep getting richer, man, because it's not a quality guy, and he's hitting development. So I know we don't got abilities on, but he's a stud, man. At least the Grim Reaper won't come see him because his career is not dead.
No, definitely not. It just begun, and you're talking about one of the fastest linebacking crews in all of the dynasty. All right, next up, it's pick 11. It's going to the Cleveland Browns. Randy, and the Cleveland Browns, we see another linebacker go off the board. We talked about defensive tackle being deep in this draft. Linebacker at the top of the draft board was very, very talented. And you got Jabari Harris going to another good team in the Cleveland Browns, just making it harder and harder for you AFC teams to crack into that top 3, top 4. Talk about the Browns getting another goon here at linebacker.
Man, this guy was on my draft board. I knew he wasn't going to fall to me, but 6'2", 236 with that speed. Now that's a linebacker. That's your prototypical middle linebacker. 91 speed, 91 excel. His zone coverage, all that stuff's going to improve. But he is a coverage linebacker. With that D-line that he's got over there in Cleveland, this guy's going to have the freedom to just roam the middle of that field and get tons and tons of picks. It's a great pick.
Yep, great pick here for Cleveland. Next up, it's those New England Patriots. And we get a offensive lineman and center here in Junior Morant and Chris Murray. We see a big offensive lineman. He's got all the attributes. But is this a chance for the Patriots to overtake those Dolphins? And, of course, you got Matty Ice in the Bills, who is kind of starting to hit his stride here in the dynasty again.
Yeah, I think this definitely helps out. This was a pick to just help running back George Stewart continue the great career that he's having out there in New England, because he's a monster running back. So this pick, the organization just came in with the mentality of getting another big boy up there to beef up that front to where though George Stewart continue to run the rock how he's running it. So do I think that helps him get over the hump of beating the Dolphins and competing with, of course, some of the for the division crown? I would say he needs at least one more piece, but it definitely will keep him in contention with him. So it was a great pick,
Great pick here for Bino, Herb, and those Patriots. Next up, it's Butters and the Saints. And Butters goes and gets David Dixon and tight work, 93 speed, 91 excel. David Dixon, is he ready to step in day one and be that island corner that the Saints need him to be in that division? Especially with the Falcons picking that 6'5" wide receiver there at pick 1.
Is that Saints logo a spade? Because we got to call the Saints a spade, man. Because it's a good play. The player is good, but they didn't need him. He's last on the depth chart as far as overall goes out of all his corners that he got, and he got a host of them, and majority of them young. So he got hit with the penalty last year and lost a couple players, and then you add a corner that. He's not gonna start. He's the fastest corner on this team. That's great. But he got a couple young studs. That's good. So I'm just scratching my head on what he was thinking, because after that penalty, he has more holes. Then you add those sexy, skinny little player. You know what I mean? But as far as Dixon goes, Dixon is a good player. You know what I'm saying? Wrong team, 93 speed. He got 70, man. He can't cover his zone, so maybe that might go up. And he's timid when the ball's in the air. You know, he'd rather knock it down than pick it off. He got 88 jump. He got 72 catch. You know what I'm saying? He might end up being a safety with all that speed. Follow KP and Philly with, you know what I'm saying, putting all the fast guys at safety. But I don't get it, man. Maybe you can help me out. I don't see why he picked the corner here. With all the other
if we gonna call a reach, let's call a reach. You got too many corners on the roster. I like it. Reach for the Saints. Should have done better. Next up, you mentioned KP and those Eagles. He picks here at number 14 and gets Kevin Blair at wide receiver. And 5'11", 208 pound, 92 speed, 93 excel out of UCLA. Randy, just what KP needed, another weapon to throw to, right?
Yeah, especially for you. I mean, you get to see that twice a year. A little liking 5'11", but he is pretty speedy, 92 speed, 93 excel. What alarms me is it says only on big hits he covers the ball. And we know we got the hit stick king out there and Bus. So this guy's going to have to learn quick to hang onto the rock out there too.
Yeah, and Kevin Blair, the 11th wide receiver on this roster. KP not looking to run the ball ever again. I heard Miles Sanders was on the block, so yeah, he gets another wide receiver that can just run down the field. He picked up Quez Watkins, that superstar at 6 foot with that 96 speed. It's going to be fun playing against this team. You talked about Bust. Let's move on to Bust. OG Chris Murray, the Washington football team, picks next, and John Felix, 93 speed, 92 excel. Good pick here for the Bus, as he has to face off against probably two guys that love to throw the ball more than anything else in the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Yeah, of course, this is a solid pick right here. This is a pick that solidifies you with being able to compete with your division mates. That's the ultimate goal. I don't care what user you are, is to contend within your division. So with all that speed out there in Dallas, all the speed out there in Philly, and both users, this is a solid pick. You know, you come out with a 93 speed, 92 acceleration. He's young, and you had time to develop him. So I like this pick. This is definitely a solid pick. And the way that the Washington football team secondary played last season, this is something that I feel like the Bucs had to address in this draft from the gate, and I think he landed it with this guy.
Yeah, got another stud here to go along with an already good defense that he has, probably one of the best here in the Dynasty. Next up, it's the Detroit Lions, pick number 16, and Dane Christensen, left outside linebacker here, tight work. 81 speed, he does have 92 excel. Is this a good pick here for Detroit, or should he go somewhere else?
If he runs a 3-4, yes, this is a great pick. A 4-3, I don't know, but I'm gonna pass this on to Randy and let him finish off on these Lions because he know more about them than I do.
Yeah, let's hear it, Randy.
his terms, he needs defense out there to stop, obviously, that user in Green Bay, as you say. And I don't think he's got the speed. 81 speed ain't going to get the job done. He does have a couple traits with the bull rush and strip ball. Maybe he moves him over to one of the defensive end spots where he's kind of aging with Flowers over there, already 31 years old, and a 28-year-old left end in hand. But, it's just kind of one of those filler picks. It's kind of a meh. Doesn't really get you excited, but it is what it is.
Next up, let's see if you can get excited about this one, Randy. It's those Colts. And we see a tailback finally come off of the board, Emmett McMichael. Was this a guy high on your board, or was this one of those you just take the best talent available?
Well, I had spoke with Type Work about this. We were both kind of in the same situation, just taking the best talent available. But with Mac getting up there in age at 28, he was high up on my board. I needed a bigger back. I got the young shifty backs, 91 speed, 92 excel, 6 foot. He's very young. He's going to get quite a bit of work here in Indy.
Yeah, and you had a good back. His name was Jonathan Taylor, but you sent him off. But Emmett McMichael expected to step in. You talked about that bigger back, with Marlon Mack kind of getting older, and he's starting to regress. Should be a good pick, of course, anytime you get someone out of Miami. Probably has some talent behind him. Next up, it's those Tennessee Titans and OG Chris Murray. The schemer was the number 2 seed last year in the AFC. What is going on in Tennessee? And he goes against Emmett Townsend, 83 speed, 87 excel. Are we seeing schemer turn the corner?
Man, listen, I'm gonna be honest, man. I did not, and I'm gonna repeat, I did not expect for the schemer that had the season that he had last year. But I think it was just smoke and mirrors, man. I'm gonna be honest. Let me just clear my mind on this one. But
he's already moved this young man to defensive end. He's not gonna play linebacker. He's gonna play right end in the 4-3 scheme. But the schemer with that Hulk in the backfield, with that I only use her 25% of the time on offense and defense. He's playing smart. He's building his team. Is schemer a threat in the AFC?
No, this is the best thing I can compare schemer to. When Chip Kelly came to Philly, right, and he just was, a mad scientist with his mad plan that nobody understood. See, the thing about it with schemer is this: when it comes to his team, he would let go of a guy that has a high overall rating, and they go pick up like 60 practice squad players. So I'm not saying that I don't think that he can't turn a corner. It's just that he's very confusing at sometimes. This guy might not even make it past, well, he has to due to the rules, but he might not even be a Tennessee Titan come this offseason. His spot might be taken by a practice squad player off of the goddamn Raiders or something. I don't know, but I definitely like what I've seen from him last season is that the guy's very confusing, man. But, he moved them down to defensive end already. And I'm just looking to see what he's going to do this season. But do I think he's going to turn the corner? No. But it's just a whole lot going on out there in Tennessee.
I agree because he already turned the corner. Schemer is the real deal. Y'all better put some respect on these Tennessee Titans. Next up, you don't get the 2 seed in the AFC if you're not legit. Next up, it's those Miami Dolphins. And Tight Work, you felt you needed some help on the defensive line. Talk about Miles Bethel.
It's been a couple seasons. We went away from what we do and left the overhangs and the big guys alone and started going to those little guys. And I think it was time to go back to our roots. You know what I'm saying? This is not the biggest of the overhangs that was in the draft, but like Randy said, it was BPA. And we thought that he was one of the best players available, man. And he was at a position of need. He don't come in the big, bulky, strong guy like the one that the Steelers got, but he is good enough at 88. We moved in the defensive end and moved Christian Wilkins to D tackle. So hopefully our 3-4 base defense that we run like 10% of the time in every game because everybody in 3 wides. When some guys line up in base, he'll be ready to go, man. And we gonna reach at 19. Hey, we like.
No, I said reach. I said
Oh,
preach.
Okay, there you
When
go.
you
there
talk
you
about
go.
we
Okay.
don't get enough people running base offense. Everybody in 3 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers.
Yeah,
Is
hey,
how
no, I just had one of those days, so my hearing going away.
I know.
Hey,
I
hey,
understand.
we like the player, man. Hopefully, he can help us stop them drags and crossing routes. You know what I'm saying? And put a little pressure on quarterbacks. But hey, we digging it, man. We wish he was a little fatter. We gonna send him to Joe's Crab Shack to gain a little bit more weight because that he's under 300 pounds, man. We don't dig that, but he's from Mobile State. Hey, we'll see what he gets to.
He's 2 or 3 cheddar biscuits at Red Lobster from being 300. He is close. He's real close. Next up, those Philadelphia Eagles, his second pick here in the first round. He also goes and gets a defense tackle, Dre Grigsby. Randy, talk about the Eagles. He went offense the first round. He goes defense here. I know if you know anything about KP, he is a defensive guy first. He prides himself and he has let that go, just trying to find a way to get back into that defensive mode. Does Dre Grigsby really help out when you got in a division where you got Zeke, you get, Washington football team likes to run the football ground and pound, and he needed somebody to kind of shore that defensive line up.
Yeah, I just wonder if he's going to take a little bit of time to develop him. He's still got Fletcher Cox up there. He's got a couple guys ahead of him on the D line with Lacey and Turner. He's a little light, like Tight Work was just saying. He's only 286, 6'4", so needs a couple more than cheddar biscuits that you're talking about. Needs some work on the power moves, but he does have some of those traits: the swim move, high motor, big hitter. Just a little bit of time to develop, which I think he could do while Fletcher Cox rides out the end of his career.
No doubt. Next up, Tennessee Titans, another pick here in the top 25 in the draft. And Dalton Sherman, wide receiver, going to the Titans. And Chris Murray, 92 speed, 95 excel. This is a great wide receiver to run drags and slant routes, correct?
100%. Now, this is why I like. This is a good pick right here because, like you mentioned on his last pick, you got Derrick Henry, who seems to just be the Hulk, a freight train, anything you could describe him, the juggernaut. You just can't see him go down after that first tackle, second tackle, third tackle. But it allows him to have the opportunity with users coming down second, 8 in the box to get that one-on-one coverage. So with that speed, I feel like should be a guy who he can easily develop. So this right here is definitely a good pick. I like this pick right here.
All right, before we get to the next pick, let's go ahead and give our last award out here in the first round. So, Nuke, go ahead and roll that footage.
Breaking news. Today, unpredictable events have occurred across the globe. Who has come to save the day for humanity? Who is this mysterious, mighty hero?
Stretch Armstrong.
Your stretchable superhero. Stretch him 4 times his size. He becomes bigger than a building. Tie him into a knot. He always goes back to his original shape. Stretch him again and again. Stretch Armstrong. The return only from character.
Stretch Armstrong.
That's right. The Stretch Armstrong Award winner for this year's draft is none other than those LA Chargers. In Tight Work, why is this the Stretch Armstrong Award?
He fast.
That's it?
That's it. He's fast. Okay, we did it because he was fast. Yeah, he don't bring nothing else to the table. You got 74 jump, man. You drafted a receiver in the first round that can't jump. You know what I'm saying? Can he even dunk a basketball? Yeah. Catch a trap.
Here's why he's the reach. Here's why he's the reach. Because he's not even on the first page of your depth chart at wide receiver. Like literally the coaches have to ask, who did we draft in the first round? Like this is embarrassing, especially because it wasn't a position of need right off the bat. And of course, we're probably going to get an 8-page synopsis from this user about how he's the smartest person in the room, even though the room only has one person in it, and how this was a great pick, and how watch him develop. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Stretch Armstrong, change the name in the chat. We moving on. Next up.
That practice, like, hey, you saw that boy run?
He quick. He fast.
He fast.
But those Tampa Bay Bucks and Andy Forrest. And Randy, Andy Force gets him a linebacker. 78 speed. Yikes. 89 excel. Jose Carrington. Go ahead, Randy. This your boy Andy Force. Talk about him.
Well, I think he was drunk when he made this pick. You never want a 78 speed linebacker. So I anticipate maybe he's going to move him over to end. He is hitting dev, 6'2", 260, but just not a lot of speed there. He's got the moves kind of in the middle, but, he'll be all right in that division. C-Rob likes to run the ball. The Saints likes to pass. And it looks like Noop is going to try passing the ball a little bit too. So he should be all right, but definitely a pick that he made when he was drunk.
Yeah. Next up, the Bucks. I guess he'll get 2 drunk picks back to back because Randy, he went and got him a quarterback with the second pick. Brian Davis, he's got some attributes. He looks pretty decent, a lot of green there. Another bad pick here for the Bucks.
Didn't you just pay Jordan Love $231 million?
It's a chunk of change.
You got other positions that you need. Yeah, definitely. Chalk this one up to the PBR.
Next up is Sweets 99 and then Broncos. OG Chris Murray, Sweets 99, hanging his first banner 2 seasons ago. And I was in the chat when he picked up Trevor Felix. He was going back and forth. Should he pick him? Should he not? But you look at 90 speed, 97 excel at running back. Does this put the Broncos back in the Super Bowl contention conversation?
Yes, it does, because as long as they got that wide receiver group with those monster tight ends, it don't matter who's the running back. You going to eat. It's as simple as that. When you could come out and have multiple guys go over 1,000 yards receiving, it's just ridiculous. So I don't care. I can be making running the rock. I'm going to eat. So this is a great pick, and it definitely puts us back in position to get him for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and this is an even bigger pick because Drew Lock just got hurt in the last game, and I believe he is out. I want to say 8 weeks there in Denver, 6 weeks in Denver with a partial tear. So going to have to rely more on that running game until Drew Lock can get back into the game. Next up, Washington football team, his second pick here in the first round, and goes and gets Donovan Bayer. 89 speed, 89 excel. Talk about this wide receiver going to the football team here, tight work.
I like him. This was my sleeper pick. I was hoping he'd make it to the second round, but Bus needed a blocker to, compete in that division. But outside the speed, he got everything. There's somebody that the Chargers should have thought about outside of the 40-yard dash. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a red zone threat. 95 jump coming out the game.
At 6'3", 232 pounds. This is a tight end playing wide receiver.
You know what I'm saying? Because when he run those stretches and he cut it up, he gonna be downfield putting pancaking people. And then we get in the red zone, this is gonna be your jump ball guy. I like the pick. I wish he'd have made it to the second round, but sometimes guys, you got to stop chasing speed because these jump ball receivers is A1 act schemer. You know what I'm saying? Hey. But I like it, man. I like him better than a couple of receivers that went before him. And I was wishing he made it to the second round, but he don't have a flaw. The only negative he got is that he had 89 speed. And with a couple upgrades and the KP method, speed.
Yeah.
He might get faster, man.
He might get a little faster. You got to say speed 12 times before that works. Next up, it's those Seahawks. And the Seahawks needed a quarterback as Russell Wilson turning 35 years old going into this season. And Randy, we see George Irons here coming out of Ohio State, 6'2", 235 pounds. This is the future for the Seattle Seahawks, or is this just a fill-in until he finds the guy?
I think time will tell. We know Ohio State struggles producing quarterbacks. He's got good size, got decent speed, great acceleration at 88. You wish that throw power was above 90, especially playing in Seattle, those weather games, those outdoor games. But time will tell. He's got a season here to build him up. He tagged Russell Wilson, so we'll see what happens after the season.
No doubt. Next up, those Carolina Panthers. And we see another running back come off the board here, Spencer Jenkins. This is the Heisman Trophy winner, tight work. Talk about this running back going to the Panthers.
Oh man, he had a great career in college. He rushed for over 2,000 yards, and I think he had like 27 touchdowns and 2 fumbles. Hey, this was a luxury trick pick by the Panthers because he already had 2 running backs in the bowling ball and McCaffrey. But I think this guy's gonna supplant them all and be the starting running back by the next season. But I'm surprised he lasted as long, man. He don't have a flaw. He's fast. He a juke you. He got a little bit of truck. He's more of a finesse guy. He can catch out the backfield. And the way that guys throw it to their running backs now, I'm surprised he lasted this long. Man, the Heisman winner, the A1 pick by C-Rob. I think this is an A+, man.
Yep, this one makes Christian McCaffrey expendable, and we'll see what happens with that. Next up, OG Chris Murray, the Chiefs picking here at pick 29, and we see Julian Gooden, a defensive end, going here to the Chiefs. Good pick here by SJ, or is this just a jag here for the Chiefs?
This is one of those picks where you be like, look, I'm going to go to my draft board, see who's the best player on it. I'm just going to draft and cross my fingers and hope he's good. Yeah, that's just how I look at this pick. So, nothing, that I'm looking at from this guy impresses me, but I see if the SCA can sprinkle some of his magic on him and make him out to be something, because I don't see nothing that makes me go wow. So I see how his career turns out over Kansas City.
I mean, 6'3", 266 coming out of USC. He needs some work. Finesse move, block shed. But when you're picking down here at 29, this is one where you just take the best guy available in a position of need, what the Chiefs thought. Next up, the Dallas Cowboys. And the Cowboys select right tackle Deontay Pleasant. Zach Martin shipped to LA. Just a position of some depth for Deontay Pleasant. Nothing exciting about this guy. We'll see what happens if he can step in and be in that role. Last 2 picks here in the draft. First up, it's the user in Green Bay at 31, and he takes Jason Barnes in tight work. How does Jason Barnes last all the way here to pick 31?
His 40 at the combine wasn't as impressive as a lot of the other guys. You know what I mean? Because he's a good guy. Hey, still by the user in Green Bay, man. The Packers, they got another one. I don't think they need him, but with a team like this, there's not much that you need. So everything is a luxury pick. So we'll see how you develop him, because nobody in the division is going to be able to cover him, no matter who he throws out there. And by the end of the season, I think this guy will be right at the threshold to be traded and bring in another first and something else. Because he comes in with 90 speed, 95 XL, perfect for a kick returner. And he got 83 spec catch, 80 deep route running. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for all that to be up by the end of the season. And he'll be on the block to be traded depending on what his cap hit is. But
he's easily one of the best developers in Dynasty history. This guy will be a monster. And whether he stays on the Packer roster or we see him somewhere else, expect Barnes' names to be there at the end when we look at Offensive Rookies of the Year at the end of the season. Last pick, it's the Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl champion. And when you're picking 32, you just close your eyes and hit the button. And Randy, he picks John Peters, 70 overall right tackle here. Anything exciting about this kid, or is he just going to be another guy on a playoff winning football team?
I think in time he has the ability to start. I mean, the interior of that offensive line is really the only weakness on this Ravens team. So definitely an ability to maybe move him over there in the inside of that offensive line, start him. But in development, he'll get up there hopefully pretty quick.
Yeah, should be a good player here for Addy 5 and those Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens. All right, guys, those are the picks here in the first round. First off, want to thank Chris Murray, Tight Work, and Randy. Appreciate y'all jumping on as we go through these picks for episode 31 here of the franchise. Man, appreciate y'all taking time out your day.
Thank you, sir.
All right. On behalf of the DML Network, our Commissioner Nasty Noob, it's your boy Expert, and we out.